Finding the rule for linear relationships. Here we are going to find the connection between each of these pairs, the x and y values. So, to start off with, we'll note down our linear equation. We'll write it as y equals for now. But before we attempt anything within the equation y equals, we'll always check to see if there's something obvious between the y values and the x values. So, as we can see here in the y values, there is a jump by 2 each time, so plus 2. We'll note this down in the equation as 2x. Now, we'll look for another obvious one. So here we see 0 and minus 7. So, we can tell that there is a subtract 7 in the equation. We'll note this down as minus 7. So, we have our linear equation, but to make sure it is 100% right, we'll test it on two of these pairs. So, our first pair, minus 2 and minus 11. We'll write it down as 2 times, and we'll substitute the x with minus 2, and then we'll write down subtract 7. 2 times minus 2 equals minus 4, minus 7 is minus 11. So, this equation is correct for that pair. Now to test it on another pair. We'll write down 2 times, then we'll substitute the x for 1, minus 7. So, 2 times 1 is 2, minus 7 is equal to minus 5. So here we can see the linear equation is correct. Now that we've done the first linear equation, we will take a look at the next. So once again, we'll find the connection between the x and y values. Minus 2 and 7, minus 1 and 4, 0 and 1, 1 and minus 2, and 2 and minus 5. So, once again, we'll write down our equation, y equals, and before attempting anything, we'll always look if there is a pattern between any of the values. So once again, in the y values, we see there is a minus 3 pattern each time. So we'll note this down as minus 3x. Now that we'll find that, we'll always look for another obvious one. So once again, we have 0 and 1, and we can see that it is a plus 1. So we'll also note that down in the equation. Now we'll see if this linear equation satisfies two of these values to make sure it is 100% true. So we'll write it down as minus 3, but instead we'll substitute the x for minus 2, and then we'll write plus 1. So, minus 3 times minus 2 equals 6, plus 1 equals 7. So, we know that this pair is correct. Now we'll take a look at 2 and minus 5. This pair right here. So, we'll write down minus 3x, minus 3, and we'll substitute the x for 2. So times 2 plus 1. Now we'll check if this is correct. Minus 3 times 2 is equal to minus 6 plus 1 equals minus 5. So here we know that this pair is correct as well. This shows how you solve linear equations.